Good morning, you guys, it's Karen, and I wanted to come and talk to you about preparing for an operation where your dog is going to be on crate rest. So we have an appointment in a week and a half whereby we are seeing a consultant who'll be having x-rays and whatnot. There's a little dog running around out there. And he's probably going to have surgery the following day. So if he has the surgery, we think it's TPLO surgery. The belief is that he's got a torn cruciate, but obviously we need x-rays and whatnot, and to confirm that he will be on crate rest for 2 to 3 months at least. So what I've done is I've got myself a little book like this, and I've always wanted a book like this. This isn't just for the operation, but I wanted to list like all the enrichment games that I've done so that I don't forget things and I can, change them up. All the kind of training that I've been doing with him, that kind of thing. But I've also got things together for the hospital visit. So the first thing I've got in here is crate training. So I would say the first thing to do is make a list of things you're going to do with them while they're in the crate. Because obviously there's a chance they'll get depressed if you're not, because they can't go on walks. So if they're not going on walks, there's a chance that they will get depressed by just being bored, basically. I've got a doggy buggy, which I'll put in the description for you in case you're interested in getting it. It's not arrived yet, but I did a lot of research before getting it, but it's the perfect one for Watson's size. And that will allow me to take him for walks, at least in the fresh air, and then I can let him out. He can walk for as long as he can, and then he can get back in the buggy. So that's something. But I've also done this list of things. This is kind of training that I can do with him whilst in the crate. If anybody wants this list, you can let me know and I can send it to you, but it doesn't have details of exactly how to train them on it. You'd need to watch a few videos. I'll try and link some videos for you. So these are the things I'm going to do. This bottom bit here actually isn't training. This is things like he'll still need to have a brush and his ears done. I've put buggy walk, earplugs with music. I'm going to try some sort of soothing music with some earplugs for him. Go and visit my dad, give him a raw bone or a duck chew. Things like, things that I can do. Physio I've put up there as well, just to sort of break up his day. This is my Hozza prep list. So these are the things I want to get done. So I've put buy Buggy, which I've done, just waiting for. Buy a crate and bedding. We're not going to do that until nearer the time because it's available on Prime, whereas the Buggy wasn't. But I'll still be able to return the Buggy if he doesn't end up having an operation, and I will do the same with the crate. I'll order it I can order the crate in the 3 days he'll be in hospital, if that makes sense. Because we've got a crate, but ours doesn't have a door on it. I'll need to train him to get in and out of the buggy, or to accept the buggy. I want to buy a medical suit. I think that's a good thing you can do, because last year I ended up buying t-shirts when he had the tumour removal. This time last year he'd had the tumour removal surgery, and I bought him t-shirts to cover it so that when he was outside it wasn't going to get dirty. He could roly-poly if he wanted, if he didn't mind, when it wasn't too sore, and again it didn't get any dirt in it and whatnot. So I'm going to get him a medical suit. I'm trying to get him to lose a little bit of weight if I can, because when they're on crate rest, they're obviously not going to be exercising, and they will be getting more treats because you're doing games with them. So I don't want him to put on too much weight, so it'd be good if he lost a little bit beforehand. I'm going to groom him before we go. I don't know whether I'll actually need to clipper him at all, because I cut him very short at my last groom because he was due his cancer centre check. And I like him to be very short for that so that they can check for lumps, and it was his 1 year check. So I don't know whether I'll actually need to clip him, but I'll make sure that I do all his paw pads. I'll just make sure that he's really spick and span clean. I'm going to wash him the night before. Yeah, that's pretty much all with that. And then everything else on here is basically washing. I mean, I've got to get a claim form ready, the pet plan claim form, and I'm going to make sure his Equifleece and socks are ready, because I'll put that on him the morning of the consultation, because they don't want them to have gone for a big old walk and got dirty, because it can affect x-rays and cause infections. But the washing, I'm going to wash all of his beds, and I'm going to clean all of the carpets with the carpet cleaner. And what else? I'm going to wash all of his enrichment toys that are fabric, and also wash like his big teddy bear and all the toys in his toy box, just because the cleaner things are, the less chance of infection there is, So that was my hospital prep list. Then what else? That's just training, general training that I do with him anyway. These are my enrichment games. That's the list of the enrichment games that I use for Watson. Feeding games. These are the there's only a few things on here, 5 things on here that I'll be using to try and give him his dinner in, just so that it's another way he can be using his brain and I don't have to use too many additional treats. This is notes for the nurses, basically saying that Watson doesn't like fish, and if you give him fish he'll try and roll on it, and that the word we use to get him to do his toilet business is be quick. What else? Oh, he loves to be scratched under his arms. I'm going to ask them, these are questions as well, I'm going to ask them about a brace and if it would be helpful, and a walk-in aid, you know, the ones you sort of hold them like that. And I'm also going to ask them if they do medical suits before I order one, because they might do a better one than you could buy on Amazon. This is just a list of what we need in Watson's hospital bag. So there's going to be a top of Kev's, because that we always send him to hospital with that because it makes him feel better. Pet plan form, his food, because he's very fussy with food and his tummy gets upset. If he has, they'd probably give him wet food and his tummy would be upset. I'm going to give him an enrichment game for the first night if he's not having his operation. I think that's something that will be useful. Whether they let me or not, I don't know. And his medication. That's just the do as I do protocol for training. And the other things that are in here is I've got all his claims that we've put through, all of his invoices, and I've got the Kennel Club rules for the different bronze, silver and gold levels of good citizen training. So that's my Watson folder, and obviously you don't need to do it that way, you can do it any way you want, but I would definitely recommend preparing, because otherwise you don't want to get to a point where the dog is starting to try and jump around and, you know, burst the stitches or something because they are bored. If you can get on top of it first and make sure that you know what you're doing, and each day you can just look at your list and do something off that list and keep them calm, it will be a much easier situation for you, you know. So I hope that was useful. I am going to be doing a video on crate training, crate games. And in fact, I'll probably do one before you even see Watson after his operation, if he has one, or even if he doesn't, because when he was limping, I was doing a lot of games with him and I did record them. So hopefully I've got enough to do a little video for you guys of some things I did with him. So let me know of any ideas you have for crate rest and crate enrichment, and best of luck if you are going through this. And if you want to follow Watson, most of the updates will be on his Instagram channel, which is Watson the Warrior. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.